Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Marvel Rivals Championship cast. We are in EMEA today on PC. I'm starting off with the PC games, console, but the PC games just get a little bit higher viewership, and this is a YouTube channel that I do need to keep alive, but I will be covering console when we get to those upper ends of the bracket. I also wanted to start with Pacific, but currently no one has started playing there, and only one game has happened on EMEA. So we're doing that one. Let's head on in. We have on the left SWAG2010, and on the right it is REV3RSAL. One of these teams went 10-0 in the qualifiers. That was SWAG10. REV3RSAL went 9-1, only winning a single game. I guess that should technically be 1-9. That is my bad. And then in the closed qualifiers, going for that redemption run, they were able to go 5-5. So they've definitely been able to creep their way back in as we're heading into T'Challa. Can REV3RSAL perform the upset against the higher seeded team of SWAG2010? This is the best of three. We're starting off on domination. Jeff banned out on the first rotation by SWAG2010. REV3RSAL focusing on Ultron, Cloak, and Dagger getting banned out. Even with Loki still in play, the Ignite's rise of Cloak and Dagger has really started to weigh on these teams. We, of course, do still see Luna Snow banned away. Magneto and Emma barely touched. Emma getting protected way further down the draft. Loki is just going to be ignored completely. Neither of these teams going for the ban.
Or villain. I'm not judging.
And we will see REV3RSAL going to be picking that up on that Loki nice and early, potentially. Thinking about it. Loki, Adam Warlock, Mantis, Star-Lord. Both these teams looking at a potential Star-Lord composition. No Vanguards are being hovered by SWAG2010 currently. Looking at a triple strategist, triple duelist. Two melee duelists to just run in and do damage. I don't know if this will make it out of base. If it does, that is brave. On the other side, REV3RSAL going for much more standard composition. They're going to be picking up the Magneto and the Emma Frost. These are teams we have not cast before, so let us introduce our players. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, it will be SWAG2010 with, I'm going to assume, Wamaha? We'll go Wamaha. On this Mantis, we have Naxa on the Star-Lord. Navi David, Felice, they'll be playing on that Adam Warlock. REV3RSAL is on the Loki. Will be on the Black Panther. We're going to call him Barcode. And we have Gala on the Magic. And on the other side, it is REV3RSAL with Jaming playing the Mantis. TC Vokra has disconnected. We will see what they play when they rejoin. We have Kermitaurus on the Star-Lord. Dramashvili, quite the name, going to be on the Emma Frost, and also be the only one left standing, as it is an absolute clean-up by SWAG2010 as they blast on through. Wulol will be playing this Loki. Demon on Coke will be playing the Magneto here. They mean the soft drink, YouTube. Please do not demonetize me. Barcode on the flank already, finding multiple final hits. The no Vanguard composition from SWAG2010. There's the thing. If you have someone hypermobile is diving your backline, you want to stop them moving. And the way to do that is that Yancey Street charge, which grounds people, prevents dashing abilities. But we're still seeing elimination after elimination. KO after KO. It's another full team wipe. TC Vokra has yet to make it back onto the point. Galumbra on one side. Barcode on the other. Literally standing outside the spawn door. Vokra has returned. That is the Adam Warlocks, and they do have those extra revives. A Demon is going to be moving over to that Doctor Strange. If they can zone everyone away and create an opening, they might be able to try and portal onto the point if they need to, as we're currently already at 53% for SWAG2010. Barcode on the flank. Vokra takes out Naxa. That's going to be their second elimination of the game. just arriving back and already starting to make some value for their team as the regeneration domain will protect that backline at least a little bit from Reversal. The soul rejuvenation from Jaming is allowing the turnaround, but we're still seeing the overwhelming damage output. Naxa on the Galactic Legend to try and melt the attackers here, burning so many of these revives early on, doing big damage onto the backline, but got to stay a little bit away from that Emma Frost. They don't want to get themselves caught out of position. Diving on in, finding the Magneto, blast a barrage to melt them down, get caught in the Carbon Crush, but they are topped up, healed out, and are giving chase to pick off everyone on the side of Reversal. It's going to be another team wipe. Demon on Coke was taken out a little bit earlier. They're going to get forced back to spawn. Can't even make it to the regeneration domain as Galombra kept them locked down. Round number 1 going over to SWAG2010. What a high momentum game. 0 Vanguards, just deciding that we don't need to absorb damage if there's no one who's in the game who can do damage because they're all in the spawn. Looking at these statistics here. 6 final hits for Naxa.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Okay. Okay. So, we're going to call that what that is. Either a solidarity misclick, and that's charitable, or a significant overconfidence from SWAG2010. Burning these ultimates, because even if you were planning to swap off the characters, ulting here would be pointless, because your ult charge on whatever character you swap to is representative of what you had before. If you had 100% ult charge, you would have 50 ult charge when you swapped over. If you have 0, you now have 0. That's just how it works. Kermit taken down as they swapped over to the Thorn. Demon on Coke on the thing, trying to lock down these backline dives. Galombra has moved off of that magic and onto the Black Widow here. Focusing down onto the thing. Massive hitbox, doing some good damage. Utilizing the map's cover here. That fog making it harder for Galombra to land these shots, and with no Vanguards, it is a little bit harder. Barcode on the Spider-Man to be the diver this time, as Naxa will pick up Wu. Galactic Legend coming on in, doing incredible damage, melting through anyone who shows their face here. Focusing down onto Dramash, who is just picked off here. And SWAG2010 took them a little bit longer to get the capture this time, but they are still in control, and they're going to set up for another spawn hold. Pick up 1 onto Jaming. And we're just not seeing anyone dealing with that beautiful double hit there by Galombra with that plasma burst. We're going to see Barcode will get taken out, though. At least 1 counter, but no momentum is being gained out of this spawn. They're just being picked off 1 by 1. Barcode on their 3rd hero of the game will be moving over to the Mr. Fantastic, and appears to be hitting all the buttons. Mantis for a little bit of soul rejuvenation if they do want to try and commit to the point, as the spawn hold has been broken. Reversal gonna commit to it. Beautiful sleep onto the Black Widow, but they're tagging through this, getting healed up to effectively as Wameha will be keeping their team topped up with their own soul rejuvenation. Kermit has brought out the Iron Fist to try and chase down the Star-Lord, chase down these mobile characters, and also just for the extra tankiness that it does offer, pushing on in. This is actually a pretty reasonable choice when your opponents don't have Vanguards that can try and lock you down. That being able to dive the backline like this could be some serious value, but David gonna be dropping that Karmic Revival. No one needs the revive, as it's gonna be another team cleanup. 95, 96, no one's there, even for portals. That will be game number 1, going over to SWAG2010. I liked the adjustment. But right now, this is SWAG2010's game. They are in dominant control so far. Game number 1 goes in their favor. Naxa takes MVP. The Vanguardless SWAG2010 clearing on through here. Looking at these statistics. 13 final hits for Naxa, 31 of which were KOs, only getting taken out once. REV3RSAL, Wamaha, and David all never went down, not once. Keeping that healing spread out, very low healing numbers, because again, we don't need to tank or heal if there's no one who is in the game who can damage us, because they're all back in their spawn, just getting taken out over and over again. Top damage output will be close, but by 500, Naxa will beat out Galumbra. Top damage blocked. A significant lead for the team that actually had a Vanguard, obviously. Demon on Coke going to be taking that 17k damage blocks, beating out Dramashvili on that Emma Frost by a solid 4k. And in terms of healing, of course, the team that was taking more damage did more healing. 8k healing, literally double anyone on the other side. It will be Wulol who will take the gold there. Also, that regeneration domain was at least a reasonable counter for this backline dive in those first round. That is game number 1 of this best of 3 series, and SWAG2010 are looking incredibly strong right now. And REV3RSAL, they're going to have to pull off something incredible for this reversal right now, as we are heading into our next map, which looks like it will be Yggdrasil Path. Moving from the intergalactic empire of Wakanda onto the Asgardian tree. As we make our way in. SWAG2010 on the defense, meaning REV3RSAL gets the first ban, and they continue to ban out the Ultron. How do you adjust your pick and ban style against something like this? Do you at least take out the Mantis for damage boost, the Adam Warlock to prevent multiple strategist revive compositions? Swag, they're just going to keep going with what looks like a similar ban stage to last time, taking away the Jeff here. Preventing Jeff Nados when you have no Vanguards and your comp's very squishy. They protect the Iron Fist, the thing that came out in the last game, almost as if they're baiting REV3RSAL to pick it again. Iron Man going to be protected, giving them a little bit of aerial assault. REV3RSAL going to try and adjust their composition that way, but Iron Man's not going to stop a Black Panther or an Iron Fist, quite frankly, from just leaping up into the sky, or a Spider-Man if they can land that Tracer. You can get still chased down a flying character. Mr. Fantastic will also be protected. We did see a little bit of that from Barcode. Luna Snow is taken out. Emma Frost will be locked in. If you're going to dive, then Carbon Crush can be a really solid counter to that. And REV3RSAL. Last ban for them. Are they scared of anything in particular? They're going to take out the Psylocke here. SWAG2010. If they're going to ban anything, I'd say probably ban out the Loki. They choose the Invisible Woman. Of course, Invisible Woman can counter flyers and can slow down engagers, but Loki does offer that regeneration domain, which is an invulnerability while you're standing inside it. And they will, in fact, be picking that up. Woo. Moving over for that. We're once again seeing a Vanguardless composition. Human Torch. We're seeing currently double strategists. We're having a lot of the strategist players moving over to duelists and vice versa. As currently REV3RSAL is solo strategist this game on the rocket for SWAG2010. There we go. We will see Wamaha moving over to the Loki. Not going to go full solo on that. They're starting off with a similar composition to last time, but instead of going for the Adam Warlock style composition, they're instead just going for the Loki and Rocket Protect, the backline style, even though their backline is basically each other, because their front line is Black Panther, Magic, Spider-Man, and also having that Human Torch in the sky. REV3RSAL, they will run the Iron Man. They've brought out the Hulk, who no longer has a team up with Iron Man, but has Indestructible Guard, a big shield for their team. Realizing that might not be viable, they're going to try and be contained. Moves to Hawkeye, which was banned out last time. They take out Galumbra, utilizing their spawn to their advantage. Seeing the torch, they're going to try and ping them out the sky here. Bokra Setting in some overwhelming siege. Finds David on the flank, takes them down, and REV3RSAL. Showing where this composition, why we don't see compositions like this, because when there's no vanguards, who's drawing the fire? All that targeting goes on to those duelists who try to rush in, who try to dive the backline, meaning if they can be targeted, they are taken out. Barcode brought back at the BRB, but Kermitaurus takes down once again the Human Torch in the sky. And this is a completely different team. REV3RSAL are dominating this fight. So they've adjusted, and SWAG2010's composition is disintegrating. They're going to try and rush the point, delay it, hold it. Black Panther coming in for the resets and also to touch the point to make sure that they're on it, to make sure that they keep this delay going. Kermitas dropped low, brought back at the BRB. David is just trying to reset through the point here, trying to move fast enough so they're not taken down. In the meantime, Vokra is sieging onto the point. Objective is claimed. Point A acquired by REV3RSAL as they continue to charge on in. Cosmic Yard Amplifier was burned, which may be a little bit unfortunate here. But this is big momentum for REV3RSAL. Speaking of things that are big, your heart, if you decide to support this channel by liking the video, leaving a comment, subscribing, ringing that bell, help this channel grow. You can even support by hitting that thanks button to send a one-time donation, or that join button to become a member. Barcode moving over to the Adam Warlock, chases them down. Pushing onto the point, Black Panther is continuing, just try and reset in the backline. Big shout out to our members who help keep this channel alive. Dump Alt, Lucas Tyson, Arso, Doki Poki, and John. Thank you for keeping this channel going. Ayamagamoto comes on out, able to dodge it with the pulse cannon for the counter, able to find Barcode. You keeping the team topped up, keeping them healed. They're being attacked from behind, able to find Naxa as they swung past. And we're starting to see, we did see a quick hold from Swag there, but again, they're disintegrated, and they finally have a Vanguard. Just one, but one is more than zero. Galactic Legend getting melted here, and we are seeing Vokra disconnected the first game, giving so much momentum over the Swag. This time is dominating. Spider-Man melted, dropped low, and taken down. Wu was picked off, but will be revived at the BRB as numbers heavily in REV3RSAL's favor. Kermitaurus sending in a couple shots down range, looking for anyone out of position. Portal onto the point. Naxa on an Iron Man of their own here. Goodbye, back to spawn. Kermitaurus just takes them out immediately. Here's some good damage onto Barcode on that Star-Lord, pushing on in with the Hunter's Sight. Takes out one, looks for anyone else, but no one is here. That card just moves on in. Portal for the reinforcements, tried to help. Naxa will get the counter pickup, but they did not stop the car. Right now, they're just padding damage numbers. Dramashvili knows that there is a Star-Lord over there, can't do much about it without leaving the car. They have 3 minutes and 50 seconds left, plenty of time, and the Pulse Cannon comes on out, will be enough to take out Vokra. You'd hear Kermitaurus trying to snipe him off on the side. Both Lokis going with that God of Mischief for the extra protection. It will be Wamaha with their own Cosmic Yard Amplifier, and Wu doing the same thing, keeping their team topped up, trying to keep Demon on Coke topped up, but they are still zoned away. The repair mode not enough for the sustain. Dramashvili is pushed back, and Wu is retreating into the spawn, not wanting to get staggered here. Golubra has moved over to the Hella, and Navi David will be the solo Vanguard this time. Try to create an opening. Vokra does have that invincible pulse cannon, making heavy use of the spawn door, keeping their team topped up, trying to melt through Navi David. Trying to take the duel in the air, but Naxa is so mobile, and that's creating the distraction that is allowing Hella to keep that targeting going. Going to sneak around behind, but they showed with those sound cues of their dash, and this is going to be a duel that Naxa will win easily thanks to that. Knowing where your opponent are is a huge advantage of knowing where to start hitting. It's going to be another clean out as REV3RSAL are trapped in their spawn. SWAG2010 are in full control of this stage, and they are showing it. This unconventional draft, but they are just overwhelming with damage, and they are making sure that they always have at least someone a little off to the side here. In this case, you're seeing Navi David on the low ground is keeping the pressure on. Yamaha in a standard position, and Naxa is sieging from the other side. Keeping the pressure on. Galactic Legend coming out from Barcode to try and chase them down, but is extremely outnumbered here. Will get taken down, but will get Woo in the meantime. Fokker going for another 1v1 duel, getting dropped low, trying to see him through the tree, but Naxa takes the 1v1 once again. Damage into this hallway. Takes them out. The healing point is just around the corner here. This main hallway is actually one where you can be damaged in. In that armor overdrive mode for a little bit of extra damage. Not going to launch the missiles here. Here comes that psionic seduction to try and capitalize. The Visible Pulse Cannon comes on out, and you can't use a Mind's Aegis while you're trapped in your ultimate here. And that Cosmic Guard Amplifier was not enough for the turnaround. Trying to put their focus onto Naxa, who goes for the counter, gets absolutely eaten there, finding no value with that ultimate. Here comes the clone into the Cosmic Yard Amplifier for the counter push. REV3RSAL to push onto the point to try and stop SWAG2010 from trapping them in the spawn. They're able to take out Naxa, chasing on in. The Amplifier is down, but they turn their attention onto that solo Vanguard. David forced to back up into the regeneration domain just to stay up here. Terminatorus has that hunter's sight, keeping an eye on the flank. They know exactly how SWAG2010 are liking to play off this point, as immediately, as we called it, in comes that Star-Lord trying to target them down. But the Pulse Cannon is at the ready, and Volcra, again, they're showing themselves with the sound effects here, but they're going to pull the trigger, absorbed by the Media M, and then taken out by that incredible targeting by Naxa. No one is on the point. No one is there in time. The overtime is ticking down, but they've got to keep making their way to that objective. Right now, they're distracted by the Star-Lord, and with no one touching, overtime ticks on down. Demon on Coke will touch it ever so gently, just able to make it in time with a slither of that point left, but again, focused down here. Cosmic Yard Amplifier for the extra protection. Cosmic Yard Amplifier will do the extra damage. Naxa on the flank. We did, I think, see a Loki clone there onto Naxa from Yamaha, which means they might not know that this ult hasn't been used yet, as we're not going for the dash, because that shows where you are through the doorway. Trying to find the right angle so that it hits the floor. In it comes! And finds Jaming. That's a huge amount of the healing taken down. It's up to Wu now. They have to clone someone who can heal so that they can keep their team up. But no, they're going to get taken down from the missiles of Naxa, who melt everyone on the point. And that is going to be round number 1, will be held by SWAG2010 at 2 points, 87 meters, 78 centimeters. But that was a completely different game to game number 1. What a setup here. REV3RSAL, they have a chance to bring us to a game at number 3 if they can just hold back SWAG2010 from hitting that distance, hitting through points A and B, and then going all the way to the tree. If REV3RSAL can hold them, then we're heading to a 3rd map, and SWAG2010, they're still only going to go for 1 Vanguard, and I don't even know if this Vanguard will stick around, as this is a Doctor Strange likely to be used with this player, Naxa. Potential for a portal culling turret. But maybe not, currently hanging out on the low ground. This could also be a portal Black Widow setting up for some shots on the flank here. Currently it's a portal Adam Warlock.
Perhaps.
Who will be joining Navi David? Is there going to be a portal at all? Are they just planning on running the Doctor Strange?
4,
We will have to see.
2, 1.
Looks like it will be the Punisher.
Don't get that vehicle too
Up
close.
to the high ground. Looks like they decide against this. Gonna portal right here on the ground. Don't want to get pinged off on that high ground. Here we go, the portal set up to try and ping them from a distance. Not the best angle, but it's more than enough to try and zone down Drama. As Drama, swapping off the Vanguard here onto the Punisher of their own, will get taken down, as forcing the team to push up with that Punisher pressure allows Wamaha on this Black Widow to snipe them as they are forced out of position. It's a classic combo, but usually not done with the Black Widow. That is certainly a little bit more unique. Lovely hit.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Pushing on. Try to find this early pickup. Lovely damage. This Barcode dropped extremely low. Will get taken down, but into Cocoon.
Almost there.
Going to be reviving directly above their opponents. Regeneration Domain. But running straight past it. Blaster Mirage. And that extra Red Room cannon with the Plasma Burst for the extra damage. Wamaha setting their team up beautifully. Dropped extremely low, but will still send in quite a few shots to try and keep the pressure on. Not able to find the shot. Finally able to find Jaming. And the rest of the team is disintegrating here as SWAG2010 are able to quickly claim that first point.
Checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Demon not going to portal, no needs yet. Not used it either. Dramashvili melted as SWAG2010 are once again going for maximum speed. Pressure your opponents, keep them near their spawn, means the car can just keep walking. This does also mean that someone gets an extremely fun and interactive gameplay experience. There's the revive onto the Star-Lord to bring them back into the fight. Looks like it's Versa who is having the fun and interactive gameplay experience. Media M from Vokra, able to find Naxa as they rotated round. Nicely done. This is the momentum the reversal might need as they make their way in. Eye of Agamotto from behind to try and take out the Loki, which they will do, chasing down Rocket, who is so fast on those walls, but is still getting rushed. Maelstrom of Madness, so much extra damage. Cocoon to bring back the Madness, who's finally joined the fray. And Reversal are falling one by one. Plasma Burst blocked by the Strange Shield. REV3RSAL will get taken down here as Kermitaurus punishing anyone who overstays, but that is already point number 2 captured. 5 minutes for SWAG2010 to push 87 meters. Vokra moving over to the Captain America, putting the pressure on themselves here. Here comes the portal from Navi David. Setting up for Naxa. SWAG2010, the siege again. Again, not the best angle here. Little bit of practice needed for these portals, but you don't have to worry about angles as much with Final Judgment. You're going to need to start moving through. Never mind, Kermitaurus with the pickup through the Final Judgment. That was so needed. And Reversal, that will put a stop to this push at 6 meters. Barcode onto the Scarlet Witch. We've been seeing a couple teams bring this out. Particularly Schmungus from EMEA. They're going to make their way onto the point, utilizing that team up. Golumbra going to be using the Karmic Revival, bringing back Naxa, who's back on their Black Panther. The Final Judgment from Dramashvili as they push on in, trying to find anyone to pick up, but the walls proving to be a little too hard to deal with. The cover taken, the quick reaction from SWAG2010, trying to get onto Naxa as they dive the backline, but they're so mobile and hard to deal with. Barcode taking out Demon on Koga, that's going to be one of the huge frontline members, and while Captain America is great at punishing a backline, which the entire team is, they are not good at protecting their own backline as effectively, as down goes Kermitaurus, and we see Dramashvili also also taken down. Barco pushing in. They'd love to do that reality erasure here, but everyone's in spawn. They get no value out of it. They're forced to back away. Wamaha continuing to just send in shots, weaken everyone. The Cosmic Yard Amplifier going to be coming out from Reversal, which means Kermitaurus with that damage boost could try and go for a quick blow up. Goddess of Death coming in from REV3RSAL. Sending in the shots, looking for David. Damage output is good. The Plasma Burst for the setup. David is taken down though. And Reversal, Hunter's Sight on the pursuit. They chase back Swag once again. Demon on Coke. Has that Eye of Agamotto. Could try and set up for a trap here. Barcode is on that flank. There's no protection for Barcode at all. All they have is Adam Warlock. They need a soul bond in order to get any value out of this ult here. They could also use that Mr. Fantastic for at least a little bit of extra shielding. I think they're going to swap. Oh, they're portaling. Ah, they're looking for potentially a portal engage because that denies the sound effect. They've got 23 seconds before they are able to do that. Dramashvili keeping the siege on. Demon on Coke takes out Versa, who's piling on the pressure. I'm calling it. I'm telling you, the way David's moving, there is no other solution here. Down goes the Black Widow here. They're getting zoned away extremely hard. And here it is. They're going to try and deny the sound cue so that no one sees this coming. Here it comes. Reality Erasure through the portal. It finds absolutely nothing. The team reacting too quickly with shields, with cover. As the final judgment comes in for at least a counter. Karmic Revival through the doorway as immediately Adam Warlock will rush on through because Revive is zoned on their body. Bringing back Na'Vi. David pushing on. Eye of Agamotto going to be coming out, stunning the entirety of Reversal. While Jamie protects the team for at least a little bit with the Cosmic Guard Amplifier. It's just Mokra who benefits from it. And they are zoned out, forced back, gets the heal, but is forced to run back to spawn.
Only 60 seconds left.
Will get healed up. Kermitaurus on the Iron Fist for just a second as the cart moves on into the finish line. Cap making their way onto point. Volcro knowing that they need to be touching to have any chance. Here comes the Freedom Charge for any extra delay. Make sure that their team gets that little bit of extra bonus health on that point for any extra delays as they can. Goddess of Death taken to the sky to take out the defenders. Looking for the strategist first if they can. Iron Fist trying to burn through that extra shielding. Wu is dropped low. Will get sniped out. But Wamaha is low here, forced to back up. Their team's getting taken out. There's only 20 seconds left. The finish line is right there, but we're seeing Reversal on the hold, and there's no Strange Portal. Na'Vi David has to swing on in to touch this point in order to hold and give time for the team to make their way in. It's REV3RSAL with that soul rejuvenation from the Mantis, giving them the extra protection they need to make their way onto the point as they take out Demon on Coke nice and early. Kermitaurus is trying to deal with that Adam Warlock and that Mantis. Take out that strategist, and you take out the reinforcements for the team, but Volker is melted, Kermitus is melted, Demon on Coke is all that's left, and they cannot reach. That is going to be game number 2 and the series going over to SWAG 2010.
3, 2, 2.
Much closer than game number 1. Reversal bringing it back here. But SWAG 2010, they were in control, they were trying different strategies, they were doing a lot of different stuff. Trying even a Scarlet Witch portal, which actually shut down their push for a while because Strange refused to join the team. There was definitely some cooking going on for SWAG. Question is, will this prove to turn into a delicious meal of an Ignite spot in the future? Or if this will turn into a nice burnt dinner. We will have to see, as these strategies, certainly creative, have earned them a spot in the next round of this single elimination tournament. Unlucky for Reversal, they will have to try again in the open qualifiers to get into Ignite, and of course in Season 3 of MRC. Look at the statistics here. 41 KOs would normally be enough to top the board, but no, it is Na'Vi David with 42 just sniping that away. But final hits, 21 for Naxa, just beating out Wamaha, who got 18. And Vokra, who got 19, doing some serious work there. Kamitaurus, also not that far behind, 17. Top damage, 24k, will be Wamaha. Really pumping out the DPS here. Least amount of times getting eliminated. Also Wamaha, staying in the back line on that Black Widow for a while before swapping over to Loki, making sure that they can just get the damage output when needed. Top damage tanked, 53k for Demon on Coke. Not too surprising there. They were the main Vanguard, doing the majority of the actual normal Vanguard work, as opposed to Vokra, who was flanking, and the side of SWAG2010, who sort of didn't really seriously Vanguard for the majority of that series. Galumber was playing a little. You can see 18k there. 36 for David, who did actually play Vanguard for a large chunk of that game, and that is enough to beat out Vokra. And top healing. Unsurprisingly, the team with less healers had more healing in this case. It is going to be 29k, easily beating out everyone on the side of SWAG2010 from Wulol, but Jaming with 33k will top the board. And a big congratulations to the side of SWAG2010. They will move on in Marvel Rivals Championship to try and earn those 2 spots available for the Marvel Rivals Ignite, and also their share of that $14,500 prize pool split between the teams that come at the top of the table. For now, though, I am Tetcher. Reminder that if you like the video, to like it, subscribe, etc. Become a member if you want those shoutouts like you saw earlier in the video. Watch the videos all the way through without ad block. Check out the playlist for the different regions for MRC that I will be doing, so that you can see how the season has progressed throughout everyone's games here. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you leave a comment if you are playing in Marvel Rivals Championship or want me to see me cover any of the teams from MRC. Leave a comment as to the team and the region. I'll do my best to get those games in. For now, though, thank you all very much for watching. I have been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow.